Okay, so let's deploy our very first ARM template after writing it. One, we need our Visual Studio Code, which is an editor, and then we're going to install the ARM extension. We're going to write our template using Visual Studio Code, and then in our Azure portal, we're going to choose deploy template as the resource, and in bracket, you need to ensure that you're having deploy a custom template. So once you choose that, we are going to be able to click on online editor that will allow us to copy what we had in our Visual Studio Code or the template that we have written in VS Code and then paste it on the online editor. Why? Because the online editor is going to validate and to ensure that it is valid, well written, and correct. Also to ensure that the storage account name that we're deploying is not already in existence. Remember, storage account name has to be unique because that is what the rule says. So you have to ensure that the name is unique. If the Azure portal tries to validate it and finds that the name is not unique, it will throw an error and ask you to rename it to a new unique name. So once you have all this sort and your name is unique, your template is correct, we're going to be able to create it, and then we're going to have our storage account deployed easily on the portal. Since it's a template, you can use this template to deploy other storage accounts anytime or number of times. Let me show you the code. Now, to create our first ARM template, I need to create a folder on our desktop, and in that folder, we're going to have our JSON file, which is used to describe our template. So I will navigate to my desktop and then create my folder on the desktop. To do that, I need to type cd desktop. And then in the desktop right here now, I need to create a new directory or a folder by typing make dir and the name of the directory. I will call it IAC because we are actually focusing on infrastructure as code. Press enter. So as you can see, I already have IAC right here. The next thing I want to do is to cd into IAC itself. And then inside IAC, I will open my Visual Studio Code right inside there. How do I do that? I do that by typing code space and then a period. Press enter. That will launch your Visual Studio Code in the current directory, which is IAC. Fantastic. Now that we have the IAC opened in our Visual Studio Code, the next thing we want to do is to ensure that we have the Visual Studio Code extension that will help us to write the ARM templates easily by giving us suggestions, IntelliSense, syntax highlighting, and also helping with indentation. So to ensure that we have the ARM templates Visual Studio Code extension, you click on extensions, and then you search Azure Storage Manager, and then it's the first search result, which is from Microsoft with the verified badge. Click on that. So since I have it already installed, I won't install it anymore. But for your case, if you haven't installed it, you will have an option to install it from here. So ensure that you have this. Once you have this, remember an ARM template is written in JSON format or JSON object, which is a way of writing or describing an object. So how do we do that? Create a file and then name it anything. So in our case, we're going to deploy a storage account. So I'm going to name my file storage.json because we are going to deploy a storage account. So storage.json. Now, once you ensure that you have your extension installed, that is the Azure Storage Manager, now you can use the shortcuts here to give you a boilerplate of what you expect when writing an ARM template. How do you do that? You simply type ARM and then followed by an exclamation mark. And then once the first option gives you a resource group template, click on that. So what do we have here? We now have a boilerplate for writing an ARM template. So right inside here, we see we have schema, which is like the schema that's being used to describe the resource you want to deploy. Content version, this is up to you to version it because you'll be making many revisions on your template. Then we have parameters, we have functions, we have variables, we have resources, and we have outputs. For a simple deployment, we are going to focus only on resources. And remember, we will now not focus on parameters, functions, and variables, and also outputs. We can leave them the way they are. Now, in the resources property is where you will spend most of your time because all your resources will go inside right here. Now, as I mentioned, we are going to deploy a storage account. Now, since we have the ARM extension installed in our Visual Studio Code, for you to deploy a storage account, you could also have a shortcut by just typing ARM-storage. So you need to type storage. Once you see storage type right there, you should wait until you see storage account Azure Resource Manager as the first option, then click on it. So this will also bootstrap for you a storage account object where you will need to change the storage account name, display name, and then you can also change what we call the SKU of the kind. So here I'm just going to delete the account here and also rename it something else like storage AC. Same to display name, I'm going to rename it to storage AC. and then I leave everything the way it is. Now this is a simple ARM template used to deploy a storage account. So once you have your template readily available like this, the next thing you want to do is to log into your Azure portal. Once you go to your Azure portal, on the search tab here, just type template. So once you have template, allow it to load, then I want you to choose this option right here. Let it complete loading. Yeah, I want you to click on template deployment, in brackets, deploy using a custom template. Click on that. Now that will give you another screen where you will choose to use an online editor on Azure portal, where you're going to copy the template from your Visual Studio Code into the online editor, validate, and then create. So let's see what happens. So this is the window that appears to you. Now click on build your own template in the editor. Click on that. Once you click on this, that will launch an editor on your Azure portal. We're going to delete everything we have here and then replace with code on Studio Code. How do we do that? I'm going to go back to the code and then copy everything that we have in our template. Copy and then go back to the portal and then paste that right here. So you will see right on the left, we have a storage account already detected right here. So once you have all this, as you can see here, click on save. Now, when you click on save, you'll now need to choose a resource group. Click on the resource group, then I'll just click on MVP, and then the region, you can leave it to the default US Central or Central US, and then you review and create. So this will run checks against your template to ensure that it's correct and valid and that there are no naming conflicts. Once everything is checked and validated, you'll be able to click on create, which will go ahead and create your storage account. So let's wait and see. So validation failed. We have a few errors. So let's see on the errors. Now the error we have says the storage account named storage AC is already taken. Now we can go back actually and then edit our template. So let me come here, go back to Visual Studio Code, and then I can name it AppSkey Store. I'll also name the display name AppSkey Store, and then select AppSkey Store, and then select everything that we have here, copy, go back to our online editor, select a template, build your own template, remove everything we have here, paste, then save, select your resource group. So let's wait for it to load. Select on MVP, leave the region as it is, review and create. As you can see, we have now actually validated our template, and now you can click on create, and in a few minutes you'll be able to see your resource has been deployed to your Azure account. Deployed, and now you can see deployment succeeded, and then we can now go to the resource, click here, and as you can see, we have now our storage account named AppSkey Store. So if you click on this, you will be able to see an overview of your resource, which is a storage account. So that's how you can use ARM templates or write an ARM template to deploy a simple storage account. Remember, the storage account name must be unique globally, and you have to consider that. Otherwise, your template will always throw errors because the storage account name has already been used. So thank you all for watching. See you in the upcoming videos. Oseko Codes signing out.